Hi everyone, I'm Holly and I am the maker here at Missouri River Soap. In this video today, I am making orange and cream sea salt soaps. Now, sea salt makes up about 50% of the soap bar, and that helps to create just a very hard bar of soap. The lather is creamy and dense, and it's just a spa-like bar. I recommend that you use it on your limbs and your belly and back only. It is not for the sensitive areas due to the salt. Now, to create a soap bar with the salt does kill the lather, so we use a large amount of coconut oil, and I do use some castor and cocoa as well, because the coconut will still lather in the presence of the salt. But coconut oil can be a little bit on the drying side in large amounts, so we increase the super fat to 15 to 20%. Now, the super fat is just that extra goodness that is left behind, and it is a little bit extra that is not binding directly with the sodium hydroxide. So that's how soap bars nowadays differ kind of from how we talk about grandma's old lye soap, is because we have the super fat and we do use good quality oils. Okay, I think I've covered the main points that I wanted to tell you, so let's get started. Let's make soap. All right, so in my pot, I have coconut oil, I have castor oil, some cocoa butter, and a little bit of sodium lactate. I'm going to add in some cream. This will be the cream portion of our coconut and cream. I'm going to blend that in. Now I'm going to add in the lye solution. Everything here is at room temperature. I'm going to put in my fragrance oil, and I'm using Satsuma from Nurture Soap Supplies. And it's probably going to turn this a fairly nice yellow. I don't know whether it's going to stay or not, but we shall see. Alright, let me take a look at this. Salt soaps can be a little difficult because they accelerate quite quickly. Yeah, it looks like we're starting to get the thinnest of trays, so I'm going to go ahead and add in the salt. And I just have regular sea salt here. And notice it's got some chunks in there. A little breakup. I use 50% sea salt, so my oils are 150 and that's 75. I'm not quite sure how much is going to go into my mold, so I didn't want to overdo it. I want to pour just a little bit of this off because I just want to do a little bit of like a white or cream on the top, but we'll see how this is going to go because it's quite yellow. I thought I might use just a little bit of Snow White. We'll see if we can lighten this up just a little bit. I really do think that it's going to lose some of that yellow, but I don't know. to the remainder, I'm going to add some electric orange. And I just want a pale color, pale orange, so I'm only going to add the one for now. Let's see what happens. I think I'll add another a teaspoon to it. Now the thing with using dry mica is that you do have to blend it a little bit extra to get it mixed in, so that could be a problem sometimes. Everything seems pretty nice in there for now. Since I'm doing the loaves, it'll go a little easier as far as the pour goes. I need to make sure that it's holding it really well. There are some speckles in there, and that's from the salt itself. I decided to add just a little bit more orange, and I've mixed it with a little bit of the batter into another little container just so that it would blend in better. I don't want this to be a super yellow soap, and sometimes when these colors lighten up, they can be yellow, so I thought that I would just go ahead and do that, but I do still a little bit of mica sparkles here. That's looking pretty good. All right, so I have markers on this mold, so I know how high up I want to go. I need to leave room for the white, which I'm not sure I did. So now I'm just gonna pour a little bit of this white-ish in. It's more of a pale yellow as of right now. Let's see how much. That looks like about all I should do. Okay. So hopefully that'll give me a little better idea of how deep I need to pour. I probably should have just marked all of them. I was kind of planning on getting 4, but I guess I'm only going to get the 3. So now I know. This one will get more of the whitish. And that'll be a-okay. This one I think ended up a little full, so I'm not going to fill this one up all the way. Was hoping to maybe do a hint of a swirl on the top, so I'll just get a little bit of this white in a line. And then I will have to just pour this out into something else. just gonna kind of swirly whirly just a little bit, like so. And then let's see, let's just kind of go on the surface just a little bit so that it has a little bit more of a consistent swirl. That looks nice. Looks exactly as I had it in mind, so that's always fun. So because this is a salt soap and I'm doing it in a loaf, I do plan to cut it first thing in the morning. I'm soaping fairly late in the day. And so I am just going to make sure I get back up here and get this cut, because I soap with just 50% salt and pretty much a full water solution. It's not going to be as hard as some, you know, you probably hear about salt soaps being super hard and you have to cut after 2 hours. Mine aren't that way, but I do need to make sure I get up here first thing in the morning and get them cut. All right, I am back to cut this orange and cream sea salt soap. Now, funny story, funny kind of. My molds decided to hold my loaves hostage, and so I am hours behind when I actually wanted to do this, because my husband had to go look for the proper like bit to use. It was like a square thing, and it wasn't just like your average screw that I could remove. So we're a hint behind here. I guess I'll turn a little bit so that you could see better. So I am getting a little rougher cut because of that, but it's still okay. I have actually, wow, that one actually got a little thin there on the end and broke. So I have cut up one loaf already, and at first it was a little too rough, but I cleaned them up and now they look great. So it's just a-okay. So the biggest thing will be the bottoms of the bars, whether you're using a knife or if you're using, you know, a cutter. The bottoms of the bar often crumble, but I will show you that we can get those cleaned up nicely. Problem is it gets stuck. Now I do have a multi-cutter now from Buds, but I'm not, well, this one's cutting way worse than the other one did, so that would just figure. I wonder if it's because of my angle. I'll come back here and see if I can. I'm kind of shifting funky, jostling around. I'm not quite sure what that's about, so I think I'm going to tighten my wire. Alright, so the main issues I'm fighting here is just it's a time situation, and I waited too long. These have been unmolded for probably about an hour, just me messing around. So that's as good a lesson to me as anybody else. We all know that you've got to cut these sooner, but I definitely went past my deadline on these. So next time I will try preparing my batch. See, I soap later in the day, and so coming up and cutting soap 5-6 hours later is not really an option for me. Wow, this one is being a real pill. So I'm gonna have to make sure I get everything prepped and work on it in the morning. Easy peasy. I have made the loaves before, but it was in silicone, and I certainly didn't fight with my wood mold holding people hostage or anything. So it is what it is. And I could not upload this video, but the fact of the matter is we're always learning. This is a little different process from what I normally do, and I knew better, but I decided to try it with my recipe and see what would happen. So now I know. Now I can make adjustments next time. And I find that sometimes seeing what can go wrong can be more helpful to the new soap maker than just seeing a perfect batch all the time. So there you go. And I don't know about you, but I tend to have to learn the hard way, so this is how I will remember better next time. So if this was a full salt soap, like 100% salt, then yeah, this would be even worse right now. This would not be happening. This would not be happening. Definitely cutting a little bit better towards the edge. Okay, so let's see. It does make a significant mess, but that's salt soaps for you. It is what it is. So let's see if this other loaf cuts any better. I assume not. Alright, let's see. It probably won't cut any better, but we'll try. I am having a problem with it. It's jostling. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm shifting. That's kind of where my issue is. So this one's cutting just a little bit better. So the front face of it is going to have a rough texture. That's just going to happen when you cut sea salt soap, just because the salt has a texture. The top is nice and smooth. The sides are smooth. And that's why I usually make salt soap in a loaf mold. But today, or not in a loaf mold, in a silicone mold, individual bars. Yeah, this one's cutting much better. So see there, I should have started with this one first. Oh boy. And my husband did bring up my new multi-cutter. I think I might have mentioned already, but I was like, I don't want to break it in on a salt soap in case something went awry. So I think that if I had not struggled with my mold and I'd gotten up here and gotten this cut, I still would have been mostly fine. But that has been the status of my morning in general. It's been a weird morning for me. And I'll show you cleaning them up a little bit. And I think my customers are going to love these. My husband loves orange, and he was up here and he's like, whoa, they smell amazing. And so I may have to make him a loaf of just a plain orange soap, because he does love orange. So I always think about my hoodies and everything. I've got all sorts of like stains. I don't know if you could see them. It's just from making soap on 1 or 2 days. And it's like, this is why we can't have nice things. Because soap. And I don't even know, I was making soap yesterday. I don't know if it was this batch or other batches. Anyway, I was wearing this hoodie. I was wearing my apron. And I still got raw soap on my shirt. So I don't know, another one bites the dust. I'm hard on clothes even though I wear aprons, because I seem like I splatter oil and things everywhere. It just goes all over the place. Oh yeah, these are cutting really nicely. So the next one, and I'll film it, the next one I'll do is I'll make it in the morning and then cut it later in the day, and then we could just compare how it went. So I would say, don't make salt soap in a loaf mold unless you are 100% certain that you could get up and get it cut on time. Alright, so what we're going to do is I am just going to bevel this. And this is just a Y-shaped veggie by OXO peeler. Wow, that came out weird. A Y-shaped veggie peeler by OXO, O-X-O. I guess I don't know. Is it pronounced OXO or just O-X-O? So like this one, you know, there's still some marks down there on the bottom a little bit, but you know, it's okay. Salt soaps are rustic. And I'm not just saying that to convince my own self. It's just a true story. It is just a true story. And once this gets into operation, it's gonna be, it's gonna get nice and smooth. And so this is just going to be, don't judge a book by its cover situation. I love to bevel salt soaps because I love the sound it makes. I love the gritty texture in my hands. I don't know what it is. I've always loved it. It's just one of those ASMR things. Let's see if we could do one that you can just hear it. And so I have my air conditioner running and my refrigerator is on, and you know refrigerators hum just a little bit. And I noticed that the camera, the microphones, they always pick that up so loud. All right, so now what I'm going to do to make it look like one of these, this is all cleaned up, it's super smooth and delightful. I am just going to use a piece of paper towel. It has a very light texture, it doesn't leave linen like shreds on it. Sometimes I think when you use a heavy duty cloth and it has like, I don't know, linen shred on it, I feel like it always looks like a hair or something, and that kind of freaks me out. But all right, so the face is still going to be rough. That's just all there is to it. But it's definitely cleaned up. It's a nice size bar. And that's what it's going for. Something a little different than those big clunky salt soaps that I usually have. And I love them and they're fine. And I love the molds and I love the boxes and everything. But, you know, if you've been listening to some of my videos as of late, I'm just kind of in the mood for a change. So, where am I going with these? This is not going to be its permanent home. So, yeah. So I'm just looking for a little change. Get some smaller bars for you guys so that you could try things and try more things and not completely break your budget as things are doing right now. Let's see. So this one was pretty rough. This batch, this loaf is definitely a rougher situation. The top is fine. And some of there, let's see. Some of this salt has some darker in it, as is normal for sea salt. So the tops, all this is going to be fine. But it's a little crumbly. A little, sticks out a little bit, and I may even consider running it across. Oh no, this works. All right, let's clean that up just a little. So this one was definitely a little harder on its bottom. It's a little more crumbly. It probably had just a little bit more salt had flowed down there into the bottom is what I'm guessing. But either way, it's still great. And back in the olden days, for me, it was like 2000, long time ago, I was in the soap making forum group. Soapmaking forum. We did forums back in the olden days, us soap makers, you know. We didn't have Facebook and Instagram and all these ways to connect. It was forums. So we did the whole forum thing. And there was this soap maker, Southern Vermont Soap, and that person shared their recipe for the salt soaps, and I had some issues, and so she was kind enough to kind of I don't know, just not really mentor, because we didn't talk that much, but definitely helped me out. And I bought a lot of her sea salt soaps. I just adored them. And what is that? There's another orange one, and I think Brambleberry sells it. Why am I drawing a blank? I'll try to put the name on there, but she had an orange one, and I just loved the bar sea salt soaps. And so that's what I was kind of thinking here. Go back to the olden days of where we made sea salt soaps in bars, and sometimes they were a little rough, and that was okay. So I hope you have enjoyed this sea salt soap making video. It's just fun to do something different, and a sea salt soap is a little bit different, a little different medium to work with. These are going to go on the curing rack. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.